All right. Welcome back to the podcast, the tip off with my guy, you already know, Pete from Nets Fans You Know. What's up, Pete?
What's going on, bro? Thanks for having me on, man. I'm excited. Let's go. Let's talk some Nets.
All right, let's do that. Let's do that. First up, we're going to talk about my guy, Brandon Ingram. You know what I mean? So, what's your thoughts on Brandon? Should we trade for him, wait till the offseason, pick him up? How you feel about that?
Man, it, a lot of people have a lot of different opinions on Brandon Ingram. You look at the injury history, but what I look at is he's been a 20-point scorer for I think what the last 5 seasons. He's still young. If I had to take a bet on a young-ish player who's maybe you say, man, this guy could maybe reach another ceiling. He get a little bit better, and he could really like lead a team. I could see Brandon Ingram being that guy. I would be open to the Nets trading for him. Maybe not this year, maybe not next year, but uh, he's someone you got to look at. I think there was news that came out yesterday or the day before, sometime this week, that Detroit was interested in him. I'm guessing you're a big Brandon Ingram
Yep.
fan.
No, I am now.
No.
Now that we're in the mix, right? I always looked at Brandon Ingram as a nice player, but now that we need that guy, some type of guy, one of those guys, he could be one of those guys that I see that he's like when you look at your Boston's, when you look at the Timberwolves, they have guys that are matchup nightmares that causes problems on the court. And we don't Cam Thomas causes problems, but he's not a wing guy. So you need like that wing guy that causes problems. And I'm like, he could be that guy. Same way you see. I think they actually should trade for him.
Right now?
Earlier, waiting for him. Here's why. Here's why. I don't think the Pelicans understand what they have in BI. I'm gonna explain why. You know what I'm saying? First, I got some stats right here for you, right?
Right.
Zion and Ingram on the floor is a plus 2.2 net rating. But when Ingram is on the floor without Zion, it's a plus 6.8 rating. So when Zion's on the floor without Brandon Ingram, it's a 2.8 rating. So when people say, they don't think Brandon Ingram is that guy, it tells right there in those stats that when he's on the floor, the team is better. When Zion's on the floor, the team is not as great because he's not spacing the floor like Bi. You know what I mean? So I don't. Now that they got Dejounte Murray over there, I don't want them to see that combination. You know what I mean? I don't want them to get excited and be like, you know what? We need to keep this team like the way it is. Like I'd rather them not see that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. You know what? Like analytics like that are so fickle in that who else was Zion playing with, right? If he's playing with shitty dudes
Facts.
around him, and if Brandon Ingram is playing with better dudes, then of course it's going to be that. But then again, those are the stats that we have, right? I think what
Right.
a better point that you would make that would make it a little easier to go down would be focusing on his injury history, right? If you buy
Right.
now on a Brandon Ingram, people are like, if this dude's gonna be hurt, then his value is gonna tank. So if you were ready to make a move and you were like, you know what, Brandon Ingram is gonna be that guy, then I could understand it.
Uh-huh.
But with the way the team is now, we want the Cooper Flags, the Ace. You know what I mean? We want the younger guys right now at least. That would be my argument.
Right. I still want the younger guys too, but I would like to have him in the learning process along with the other guys while we're
What do
while
you
we're
give?
losing.
What do
You
you?
know what I mean?
What are you gonna give up? What are you gonna give up to get Brandon Ingram?
Yo, I don't know. I'm not a big trade guy. I'm not a big money guy either, but I don't know. They could Nets could figure it out. They just need to get that guy on the roster. You know what I mean?
Would you give up next year's first round pick for Brandon Ingram? Obviously, you'd have to give up
No,
more.
no, no. No. Uh
Would you give up Cam
I
Thomas for
don't
him?
know. Whew, that's tough.
I gotta press you a
I
little
don't know.
bit,
I
bro.
don't know. I don't know who
hmm
I don't know who the Pelicans would want on this roster. You know what I
That's
mean? I
fair.
listened to a couple Pelicans fans and they talk about they need a center. But I don't know if they would want like Dayron and some second round picks or a first from later on, not maybe 2027 or whatever pick we have like that later on. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
After, they could get a pick after the rebuild, after the 2 years, maybe they get a pick from there. You know what I mean?
Mhm. You know, it's
What you
so
think
tough
about
when you're
that?
looking at like a Brandon Ingram for the reasons that you said, because we don't know what the Pelicans see in him. Maybe they value him a lot. Maybe they
Right,
don't value him at all. Right? They might say, you know what, this dude's glass. You know what I mean? We'll take whatever
right,
whatever deal looks like suitable for the for the time. You know what I mean?
right. Yep. All right. So we're gonna move. We're gonna move on from Bi. So I heard you talk about Jimmy Butler. You know what I'm saying? We could get in that. We get into that if you want to get into that. You know what I'm
What do
saying?
you
What you
think
think
about
about the
that?
Jimmy?
Ooh, I'm gonna
I
go. You
think
go
I
first. I
think
want to see what you
Jimmy
think.
is I think Jimmy is too late. You know what I mean? His timing is off for us. If we just starting to rebuild, then he would have to come maybe like 2026, right? And then that's 2 years on him. So that's too late. You know what I mean? If his timing is off, that's why I rather the Brandon Ingram. You know what I mean? But Jimmy's a good player. Everybody know who Jimmy Butler is. Can't sleep on Jimmy, but the team is not trying to win. You know what I mean? We need Ace Bailey.
I think you're 100% right. I think you're 100% right. I think this is just leverage. I don't actually believe that Jimmy Butler, a dude that is super competitive, is saying, you know what? I want to go to the worst team in basketball. You know what I mean? Maybe he wants to come to New York City. That could be, you know what it is, bro? I think it's cap space. The Nets are going to have the most cap space in the NBA next offseason. He wants a max deal. And, if I'm looking around for a max deal, the Nets are the only team that are going to possibly give it to me. If, as looking at the numbers, right? So I can see what he's doing there. I think it's trolling. I think it's a leverage move. They've been back and forth between Pat Riley and him. I think you look at that and it's a money play. It's a leverage move. I don't actually believe that he wants to come here. Now, should the Nets be interested in him? I think you're also right saying he's too old. This is a move that would have been great 5 years ago, 6 years ago. I would have loved
Definitely,
it. I wanted him to
definitely.
come, and when he went to Philly, I wish he came here.
You know what I'm saying? So if we're gonna move on to the free agents 2025, is there any other players that you would be interested in getting other than my boy Brandon Ingram?
I don't know if it's. I don't think he's going to be a free agent in 2025. I think that the Nets should kind of wait for the next 2 years, tank, get those good draft picks, draft two studs that you can kind of build around. I have a philosophy that acquiring a point guard is a lot easier than maybe finding like an Ace Bailey, Kevin Durant type scorer, right? Not saying that if there's if the best player in the draft is a point guard, get the point guard, right? I'm not saying that, but a guy that I would be interested in, if the Nets don't draft a point guard in the next 2 years, I would love to
Hmm.
see a De'Aaron Fox Nets like combination. If Jordy's still here, he has his point guard that was with him in Sacramento. De'Aaron Fox has gone on the record saying he likes Jordy. I think there would be a good relationship there. That's something that to look for.
All
Hmm.
right. De'Aaron Fox, not bad at all. De'Aaron Fox is a killer out there. Yeah, they wasn't when I looked, there wasn't too many players in 2025 free agency that was like that I think that the Nets would actually get. You know what I mean? The only person I seen other than Brandon Ingram was like Jonathan Kaminga, and that was like the only maybe a Gary Trent Jr. That was the only two players other than Bi that I seen in there that I think like the Nets had a actual chance of getting. You know what I mean? So I don't know if Bi is gonna be he's gonna wait and be a free agent, but whatever comes down, the Nets need to hop on Bi. You know what I'm saying? He's that guy. All right. So from here we're gonna talk about your guy, VJ Edgecombe. Like tell me what you like about VJ, because he's been hot on the net. He's been hot on Twitter. He's been hot everywhere.
I've got on the record that I'm not gonna lie to people and sell them bullshit. I'm not the most versed in the draft class, but a couple things that I have seen from VJ from the Olympics, I like when you get a 19-year-old kid playing against NBA guys, and the guy is popping on the court, putting up good numbers, playing against grown ass men, and not only just holding his own but playing well. That's something that you gotta like really like look at. We've seen a guy like a Luca that I'm not saying VJ is Luca. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying you can make
Right.
comparisons in that you got a young guy playing against men in a non NBA league and playing well. It seems that these
Right.
dudes that play internationally that are younger guys playing against grown ass men in those leagues, if they have success there, most likely they're gonna have success in the NBA. It's an interesting trend because a couple years ago, maybe like 10 years ago, international players used to get shit on. Like it'd be very rare you've seen an international player get drafted, in the top five. You have a Banyarni that went to Toronto as like a rarity, but now it's looking like these international guys are looking pretty good. They're looking pretty good. I like VJ as maybe the third or fourth best prospect. I think that the big debate now is with Cooper Flag. Is this like the white guy syndrome that he's a white guy that plays well, and if he was black, would you be as hyped? You know what I mean? Like it's a real thing. People are talking about it.
Right.
Is he athletic? Is the
Uh,
talent there? I don't know. We'll see at Duke. Uh, I
right.
really love Ace Bailey. I think he's my number one guy right now. But we have a whole college season to go by. Well, what do you think?
Definitely. Definitely. I'm ace all the way. Ace all the way. Just because of playing style. His playing style fits exactly what the Nets need, especially on the wing. That's why I always talk about BI. But he's one of those guys. Like they say he's 6'10". He can shoot over defenders. Play make needs to be a little bit better, but he can play make a little bit. He can play defense. He can block shots. He's one of them guys that would give absolute problems to defenders, and he will always space the floor. And that's why I look at BI like that too. Now, Cooper Flag, to me, Cooper Flag, he's a good player. He's an all around player, but his offense doesn't pop to me. And when we look at uh, our offense, you need that guy that stands out. Now, him and Noah Clowney will kind of be in the same boat. He's probably a little bit better than Noah Clowney at this point because he can create a little bit. Noah really can't create off the dribble. And most likely, I see him at the 4, not the 3, because he's going to get bigger. He has a good size right now, and he is athletic, and he has a power game. So, you know what I mean? Like, I don't see that as what the Nets need, but if we was to draft him, I'll be good with it anyways. And your boy VJ, there's a lot of comparisons, but I see VJ playing style like Dwayne Wade's play style.
I
D
can see
Wade,
that.
you know what I'm saying? Wade County Wade. I see that in his game. Explosive. He can split the double teams, and he's trying to end somebody's career when he gets to the rim. You know what I mean? And he's quick, fast, and like you say, he's playing. You see him over there playing for the Bahamas, and he's wowing the internet. He's like, who? Everybody's like, who is this guy? All over Twitter. You know what I mean? So he's making a name for himself, and people need not to sleep on VJ going to Baylor this year, and they say like he's like their number one prospect at Baylor this year. So he's gonna be
Yep.
fun to watch in college. You know what I mean?
Uh, Thinking about Cooper Flag, like how important is the defense to you? They say he's going to be a phenomenal defender and he's going to be good on offense. Like I said, I don't know about his game too much, but they say that his
Right.
defense is like really going to be like the calling card. And a Claxton, Clowney, and Cooper Flag defense that looks enticing. Like you said, I don't know if he's going to be a 4 or a 3. That'll be figured out over time. If the dude is talented, you worry about that later. What do you think about the whole defense
Right.
thing?
Or to me, the 3, you need that guy that creates havoc. You know what I mean? At the 3. Like if he played the 4 and Clowney like went to the bench, that would make more sense to me if he was like a 4. But like I said, like building offenses, that's one of the questions I wanted to ask you. How would you build an offense? Because the way I look at it, like with Cooper, with Cooper, and with Ace, I like guys that you can move up the lineup. If Cooper Flag plays the four, I would like to slide him to the three. Then like you said, you bring Clowney in. Now your defense is looking much more tighter. You know what I mean? And there's no slacking depending on who your point guard of Cam is at the two. I like to build an offense where guys are movable, like Boston and like I keep saying Timberwolves. When Rudy goes out, they slide Cat to the five. Then they bring in Nas Reed, and it changes the whole dynamic of the team. I like to do that, but for me, like that three has to be a super creator. He has to be a bucket for me. So I rather the score at the three rather than the defense at the three, because then you have to have a score at the four or a score at the five or a score at the one and two. You need at least three scores in your starting lineup. How do you feel about that?
Is that reasonable to ask for three scores in your starting lineup, though?
Yeah, it's reasonable, right? Here's why. What I mean by three scores, right? If you have a Cam Thomas and just say you have an Ace Bailey, either your point guard needs to be able to score a little bit, or your power forward or your center needs to be able to create for themselves just a little bit, because that changes the dynamic of the team. Like if you look at our team now with just say Ben Simmons at the point, Claxton at the center. So now you have Cam Thomas, who's your bucket, and then we had Bridges. Well, he's not a crazy creator, right? And then you got Dorian Finney-Smith, who's not a creator, and that limits your offense, right? So that's why I say at least two main scores, and then your third guy needs to be able to create for himself and uh be able to score, if you know what I mean.
That's fair. And you asked me like how I would build the offense. It's
Yeah.
that's such a
How
tough
would you build a
question.
starter lineup?
Yeah, that's such a tough question because the Nets have shown a history of going small ball, right? Jordy,
Right.
in particular, has spent the last, I think, 5 or 6 years having Sabonis and Jokic as playmaking centers. Is he going to try to bring that to Brooklyn? I don't know. I
Right.
can't see Clax doing it, so that means you're probably going to have Clowney doing it. Can he create like that? I don't know. I don't think that offense works with us. So I like to see the younger guys play personally, but you're going to
Hmm.
need CJ to play to build up his trade stock. You're going to probably
Right.
need Dorian Finney-Smith to play to build up his trade stock. I hope one of Dorian Finney-Smith and CJ is on the bench. I prefer to start CJ because he's the one who really needs the help as far as building
Right.
up his trade value. I'd love to see Clowney at power forward. I would be so pissed if he's not the starting power forward opening day. He may not be, but I'm going to be livid if he's not. I think Clowney is better than Claxton on offense right now, and it's not close. It's
Um,
not close.
I will give you that. I think his catch and shoot for Clowney it's better, and Clowney has to have a straight line drive to the bucket. You know what I mean, to do his thing. But his catch and shoot and rebound and block shots, yeah, he's right up there. I think he is better. I would say right now he's better than Claxton on offense just because he can catch and shoot. You know what I mean? And that makes a difference, a spread in the floor. And Clax is a rim runner. So, you know what I mean? He's all rebounds and lobs for right now and the baby hook. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But I do agree with you that Jordy runs that Sabonis handoff. And like I said, like I told you before, I don't see Claxton I don't see Claxton doing it. It's either Ben Simmons or Dayron. Like I don't even see Clowney doing it because he's not good at setting screens or picks and stuff like that. Yeah, he's still small. So you need a bigger body to do that, and you only have Ben and Dayron. And those two are the better passers than Claxton and Clowney. So I mean, it's going to be tough to figure out. You know what I mean? If he wants to do that with Claxton, I think I think he's going to find out that doesn't work as well. You know what I mean?
You know what's really interesting, and I'm happy you said this. Ben Simmons would be the perfect point forward for a Jordy Fernandez offense. You know, he could
Wouldn't
pass. He could do the handoffs. If the dude could take any contact, he could run to the rim. There's lots of little things you could do. Obviously, he can't shoot. We know that, right? I'm not expecting him
Right.
to put up floaters or whatnot. But if the dude could do fake handoffs, hand off some screens without getting all of them called for offensive fouls and whatnot, he would be a more of a at least a better fit than Clax, and definitely a better fit than Dayron. I'm a big Dayron guy. Back when people were
Are you?
not talking about Dayron, I was looking at his rebounding numbers. Dude rebounds like an animal, like at an elite level. He does not get the
Definitely.
playing time he deserves.
No, actually he does not. He is a rebounding animal. He does he does all the dirty work. I seen Dayron rebound over three people. Everyone's down court and he's battling by himself. Like he's even though he's 6'9", dude plays way bigger than 6'9". He just needs to work on his little offensive game a little bit, and what I'm saying, he will be all right. He can pass, and you're right. Ben Simmons he is that guy that I see that can run what Jordy wants to run with ease. You know what I'm saying? No second guessing, no nothing. It's all about can he stay on the floor. You know what I mean? That's Ben's whole thing with the back injury. I got back injury right now. And that's why it takes me so long to do certain podcasts. But if he can stay on the floor this season, then I hate to say to Nets fans, even though they would like him off the team, if he can do all this, I don't see them letting him go. You know what I'm saying? I don't see you getting another Ben Simmons that can do all the stuff that Jordy needs. You know what I mean? Unless uh um Dayron just does something magical this season. You know what I mean?
You know what? I think that's more of like a contract thing. He has 40 million coming off the books, which is basically that's
Right.
like a max contract, right? That's nothing to
Definitely.
sneeze at. Would I be mad if Ben Simmons comes this year, is actually healthy, plays well, and gets signed to a cheaper deal, to stay with the Nets? No, I would not be mad at that at all. As a matter of fact, I would be actually very happy if that would happen. I just don't think it's gonna happen. I've been a big Ben Simmons dude. Um, I've been wrong. I thought the second surgery would correct everything. I thought he'd play a little bit more, at least half the season last year, and we saw. I think he only played in 15 games, something like that. I've had
Definitely.
people tell me that they think he's done in the NBA after this, like
Yeah.
vets minimum, or you're out of the league.
I don't think that. I'm a
I don't
big
think
Ben
that's
Simmons
true.
guy. I got the jersey upstairs. I didn't rock it tonight because I didn't know we was gonna mention Ben. But I would have put it on and made some haters mad. But I the back is a funny thing. People act like the back can't heal. His back, you know what I'm saying? There's no timeline on his back. And I will say this for myself. I said it before. If he can't make it through this season, then I would think like Ben, it's almost that time to stop trying. You know what I mean? But
Mm,
there is a chance that this time, after all this time, that they finally got the surgery right and his back is okay to make it through a good amount of this games this year. You know what I mean? There is that chance. It's just not, you know what I'm saying? He's not gonna make it. He's done. It's over. The back doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? Doctor's got to get something right, and he's got to put in hella work. Um, I like to explain my back stuff on Breezy's podcast because people don't understand. Like, I got an L5 injury, and
oh
I
man.
lost all strength in my right leg, all of it. You know what I mean? So I can walk up the stairs. I still got my cane right here. I'm limping. I'm dragging this leg. Like it's tough, and it's been 10 months, and I still haven't got all my strength back yet. It's almost a year. So I know exactly what Ben is dealing with. I've been in physical therapy for 8 months. It's tough. It's not easy. And I told Breezy I wouldn't even attempt to play. This guy's getting on the floor, trying to get back to himself. Can't knock him for that. He's not faking an injury. It is brutal with a back injury. You know what I mean?
Let me tell you something about Ben Simmons. Okay, let's go back a couple years. We have 7-Eleven still on the Nets. Harden is gone. Dude has surgery and tries to come back just a couple months after having the surgery and is playing in training camp. He should have not been playing. The reason why he played was because of Kevin Durant. He said, like, this is it. This is the time. If I
Right.
if I'm not back
Right.
now, you know what I mean? Like they kind of, I don't think they forced him per se, but we I think you're crazy if you don't agree with me in saying there was a lot of pressure for him to come back after missing that whole playoff series when Boston swept us. The dude felt
Definitely.
the pressure to came back and he tried, and you know what? He might have made it worse. That's what it is.
Definitely.
You know.
Definitely. I definitely agree with you because there's nothing like I always say, you have no idea what his body feels like. There are days where I feel magnificent. Like I said, I could walk up my steps, and by the time it's time for me to come back down, it changes immediately. Like that feeling is gone. So when he feels great and he's trying to do things on the court, he might actually feel good. But once he start doing his normal routine of running and jumping, like his back is like, hold on, bro, this
Well,
this, this is not it yet.
think about driving to the hoop and getting a 200-pound dude, slamming into you while your back is killing you. Like that's
Right,
not, you know what I mean? It's not. Maybe that's why he doesn't want to draw the contact. He's like, my back is killing me, and I'm about to be knocked out of the game if I take a bad, step or two and bump into
right,
somebody. Maybe that's what it is.
right.
I don't know. I have no idea.
It definitely is. I can tell you if I lean against this wall right now, my back will start hurting. So I know that's what it is. You know what I mean? But people don't see that as, you know what I mean? Like, why is he in the game? He shouldn't be playing. Like, dude is trying to play for y'all. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah,
He's
but
trying to
those are
do
the same people that'll say, "Why aren't you playing?" You know what I mean?
exactly. So it's a lose-lose situation. He can't
It is.
win in that situation. But I feel the pain, I feel the struggle, you know what I mean, of Ben. I hope he just make it back the season and make it through.
That's going to be interesting to look at. Well, what do you think about the what is it? The over under, I think given by Caesars is 19 wins for the Nets this year. Do you think they go over? Do you think they go under? What do you think about that?
19. Hmm.
Yeah, 19 and a half. I think it is exactly.
That's a good question. I could see them right at 19. Maybe 20. I said go over. Maybe give them a game 20. Maybe you know what I mean.
You know,
Just
I'm
because it.
I was
Go
gonna
ahead.
say I'm leaning towards that also, but then I
Hmm.
look at the division and I'm seeing we got the Celtics, we got Philly, and we got the Knicks. And Toronto, they got a couple young guys there. You know what I mean? They might be developing and they might take a step forward. Maybe they don't. But man, 19 wins just seems a little bit low to me. I think
Yeah.
they get lucky and win maybe like 2021. Maybe, you know what I mean? Like I see that. I agree with you. I agree with you.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I see, especially if Ben can stand. The thing is, I see them working it like Ben on the court for a while and just take all the veterans out and just young boys. Let's see what y'all can do after. You know what I mean? Like not
Yeah.
throughout the whole season, but a couple quarters. Let the vets run. You know, get a lead or catch back up, and then okay, guys, go back out. You know what I mean? Do y'all thing. Let me see if y'all can learn this offense type thing. That's what I think they're
Mhm.
capable of winning at least 20 games. 19, I mean, one game, two games over, it ain't gonna kill nobody. We still at the bottom. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's 82 games in the year. So you're saying that the Nets are gonna be losing 3 out of every 4 games, basically. You know what I mean? Like
Basically,
that's
right.
possible. That's possible.
It is.
But
It is.
I, I think they get lucky. I like Jordy Fernandez. I think he's the real deal as coach. I see him as someone similar to Ime Udoka in that there's a lot of game planning, and I think he steals a couple games. And the kids wind up surprising a couple teams. They get a couple wins. I would say anything over 25 wins, I would be I would be stunned with 23 wins. I really would.
Yeah, I'm with you because I think he does have that capability of pushing them, and I don't think folks realize he did that for summer league. You know what I mean? I don't know if you heard that he called and said he didn't like the way they was practicing and
Mm.
they need to do better. And they went out there and played their hearts out. They won a couple games like that. They didn't win all the games, but the team stepped up as a whole. And I think that's harder to do in summer league because just don't know your teammates. You know what I mean? Everyone's coming from G League, and you got three of your guys from your team, and some guys being drafted. So that's even harder. And they pulled some of those games out. So it's possible that he can, you know what I'm saying, give them that boost that they need on the court and pull out a extra 2 wins. And like you said, surprise some folks like, okay, they grinded this game out. I don't think people put that into account when they talk about the Nets this season.
I will say this: the Nets are a Cam Thomas injury away from being like a 10-win team. You know what I mean? There's also that also
Definitely,
we have to keep in mind. But if they're healthy, I don't think like 20 wins, 23 wins is crazy. But man, they really are one injury away from being a disaster though. We got to keep that in mind.
definitely, definitely. That's why I always talk about my guy Bi. You need some, you need some help, Cam. You know what I'm saying? I know you
He
need some
does.
help out there because he's the only on ball. Well, really, I mean, Bojan is there, but I heard you say
He's
they
gonna
might
be
let him
bought out.
go. Or,
He's not.
yeah, he's
Don't.
gonna be.
He's gonna
Yeah.
be bought out. I'm
So
pretty
once
confident.
when he goes, there is no Keon Johnson is your next on ball and Dennis Schroeder, your next on ball creator. It's like, come on, bro. Like it's gonna be a struggle. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's really gonna be a struggle for him. And he's going to see a lot of double teams this season because he's the only guy on the floor that's a major bucket. You know what I mean? So it's going to be tough. I guess that's why they got the 19 games.
It makes sense. It definitely makes sense. I think Cam Thomas is gonna have a big year. The only thing that could set him back are our team saying, you know what, we're gonna make Cam Thomas we're gonna like do something like how can I say this, man? I forgot the name of it. What's the defense called when the guy just stares at his man and doesn't even look at the ball? Face guard. We're gonna face guard Cam Thomas the entire game. We're gonna make sure anybody else can score but Cam Thomas. You know what I mean? If teams do that, it's gonna be especially hard for him. But he can have a big year, definitely. I think he's
Yeah,
he's ready for a big year, but he does need some help. You're right. Mhm.
that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Because like you said, they face guard and they double team and they press him. Bro, who else is going to do anything on? Who else is going to do anything on this team? You know what I mean? You- They hope. What's the guy? What's the guy's name from Memphis? That they just got. He was a first round draft pick. Damn it, I can't remember his name right now.
What
Damn, I
year?
can't remember. They just got him this year. Nets traded for him. And John
Zaire
Morant was
Williams.
kind of Zaire. They better hope Zaire can, you know what I'm saying, step up to the plate and do something. He's like he can create a little bit. He's not too bad, but he's not a great creator either. So, you know what I mean? They better hope he
Yeah.
can do something. If Cam gets double team and you know what I mean, lighten his load slightly from
See
this
what.
year's pressure. But he could have a big year because he's the only major scorer on the team right now.
Hmm. We're not really focusing on wins this year, right? We're looking to see if Clowney gets better, if CT gets better. You want the cap space cleared out. You want to be able to draft a good player. That's it. But overall, I'm more excited about this year than I was about last year. And last year I thought we were making the playoffs going into last season. I'm more excited this year. I really
Yes,
am.
last year I definitely, but once I seen that Ben went down, the team had no hope.
Yeah.
The team
Yeah.
went no, it had no hope when Ben went down. But yeah, I'm excited because I'm so excited about the draft, and like you said, I want to see if no Clowney actually develops his on ball game, like at least be able to create, drive into the rim a little bit, not too much. I want to see if he gets that during the season or he waits to next season, all season to work on that type stuff. And Keon Johnson, if they're gonna run him at point guard a little bit or they're gonna run him at two guard a little bit, like what are they gonna do with these guys? Because they got a lot of guys that you know what I mean, they're just guys. So Keon can jump, he can run a point guard a little bit. He's only 6'4". You know what I mean? Like I'm curious to see the strategy they're gonna put together with these guys. It's a lot of things that I want to see, especially with like you said, uh, Sharp. I want to see what what he's gonna do with Sharp. How much time is Sharp gonna get at center? You know what I mean? Is he gonna do the dribble handoffs? Will he be able to shoot threes this season? Would they actually let him do that if he's open? You know what I mean? What would they let Claxton shoot threes this season if he's open? I want to see stuff like that.
That's a good point. Like you said, you have a lot of guys. Like you said, I think you take the shit in your hand, you throw it on the wall, you see what sticks, right? And that's how you find the Spencer Dinwiddie. That's how you find like guys that were undervalued and wind up being difference makers off your bench.
Definitely, just run them, put them in, see who works, who does what best, and go from there. Because I know a lot of these guys are not staying on this roster, and that's a given. You know what I mean? Do you know anything about the 2026 draft, or you're not even there yet?
Not there yet. Not there yet. I think it's too a little
I'm
too
moving
early
too
for that.
fast.
Look, yeah, man.
Moving too fast. Yeah, I'm all in 2025 draft, 2026 draft. I'm ahead, but
I feel you.
yeah, there's still a lot of guys in 2025 draft that are pretty good prospects. Other than the top 7, 8, there's some guys in there that's pretty nice that would do. You'd be surprised at the guys like in the 20s or 18 that that they're pretty good, bro. You know what I'm saying? I scouted some players. I seen them on Instagram. I seen them on Twitter. I seen other college guys. I seen the guys of his draft talk about certain players, like a Ian Jackson. Like he is a speed demon on the court. He's very hard to deal with, and he just did good at. I think he won like MVP at uh uh Dames, whatever it's called, open run, whatever he's hosting. He was a MVP in there. So I'm like, wow, you know what I'm saying? And I think Ian Jackson is ranked like he's got to be around like 20th or something like that. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
there are plenty of guys for the Nets to get when they're drafting the next season.
I'm looking forward to the young guys coming in. And I definitely think the next two drafts are going to change the next 10 years, 10 to 15 years, maybe even for the Nets. There's a lot of high stakes in this that you have to hit on these dudes. If you're going to be drafting in the top five in these next two drafts, you have to hit on these dudes. Even more importantly, the 25 draft because of how talented. I don't know these guys really, but supposedly this is a generational draft. So if it's true, they gotta hit. They need to hit.
Yeah, they definitely need to hit. I had my last podcast I put out about the guys that they scouted, that the Nets scouted, and out of 15 guys, 11 guys made it on rosters. Like they
Mhm.
can find talent, and I talked about it on Breezy's podcast too. The guys that Sean Mark actually drafted, they're all still in the league. All of them
That's a
still
good
on
point.
rosters. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, even he drafted in the 20s, he still has guys that he drafted in. They're not on our team, but they're still in the
Yeah,
league. You know what I mean? They still
yeah, yeah.
hooping. So I'm like, that plus what you scouted last, what that the players that you scouted from the last draft, and they all made it on 11 out of 15 guys made it. That's impressive. Like they know talent, right? So I'm like, if they draft somebody high, this is my question: will they pick the right guy? You know what I mean? Will they get that
Mhm.
diamond? Will they get that star? That's the question. You know what I'm saying? I know they know talent because I looked up all the numbers and everything. Their numbers are pretty damn good for drafting that low. You know what I mean? Or even picking up undrafted players. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I think that Sean Marks's bread and butter has been the draft. He's hit on guys like you said in the 20s. Let's see what happens when it's a top five type talent, right? I think that'll tell
Right.
you a lot. And there's not much to it, right? We got Nets have to hit. If you're gonna lose, you need to make sure that you don't get a Markel Fultz, and you obviously you want like a Jason Tatum. You want someone
Right.
who's gonna be the cornerstone of your franchise.
Right. That's what I said. They gotta get that star. And personally, I think is Ace. I think out of that bunch, I think that is definitely Ace Bailey. I'm not saying VJ can't be one because he does remind me of D Wade. I'm not sure if he's going to turn out like D Wade, but his playing style, his playing style is very close to D Wade's. You know what I'm saying? But I still would take Ace. There is damn, I just posted it on my Twitter. I can't remember the name of the guys, but they scouted the players in the draft, and the first two that they said they would pick was Ace Bailey and VJ, number two, and they put Cooper Flag at number three,
Mhm.
and that's how they scouted. So I'm like, that tells you, like, don't sleep on that guy. He's only 6'4", but he is a problem. You know what I mean?
I agree. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun year. And I think maybe the Nets don't win a lot of games, but you're going to be watching a lot of college basketball. If you know, if you're someone like us who are invested, you're going to be watching a lot of these college games and envisioning: does this player fit with the Nets? Is this guy's reputation, like legit? Can Is this a generational talent? Is this not a generational talent? There's just so many different angles and questions that I don't know. It's going to be a sucky season, but I don't know. I'm excited for it. I really am. I really am.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be sucky. But if we hit on one of those guys, it's going to be the best thing ever.
You
You
ain't
know what I'm
wrong, bro.
saying? It'd be the best thing ever for the Nets, and they kind of found the right timing to kind of want to be terrible because these two drafts are supposed to be the great. You know what I mean? The best two drafts so far for from a long time for a long time. So we just gotta wait and see what comes out of what we get out of it. You know what I mean?
I got you, bro.
All right, Pete. Thanks for coming on. And that's all I got
Of
for
course,
y'all
bro.
fellas. Catch y'all next time. All right.